Israeli TV series Fauda debuted its second season on Netflix this week. For those of you who don't know it already, it's a gritty look at the dangerous missions and the complex lives of Israel's undercover security operatives who infiltrate the West Bank. The real elite units it's based on, though, are rarely allowed near cameras, even anonymously. But one documentary filmmaker got an inside look behind that curtain. Oren Rosenfeld, who's filmed The Real Fauda, will screen on BBC World on January 6th. Oren's here with us, but before we talk, here's a clip.
This is the Yamas, one of the most secretive of the undercover Israeli units that dress as Arabs. They've been in existence for 25 years and they've never been filmed before. We've had exclusive access to Yamas as Fauda's thrown a spotlight on their secret world.
כן, ראיתי את הסדרה הזאת. באמת סדרה מעניינת, סדרה יפה. ואנחנו חיים את זה, ואני יודע על מה מדובר שם. כמו להיכנס לשטח, איך לראות אחד מהשטח, אחד מהאנשים שגרים שם, אחד מהאוכלוסייה. ואני עושה את התפקיד הזה, כי אני אוהב, ושתיים, אני מאגן על אזרחי מדינת ישראל. אם אני לא אעשה את זה, וגם הוא לא יעשה את זה, אז כנראה לא יהיה אנשים שיעשו את זה.
Oren, so take us through your film, where you shot it, when you shot it, and how did you get inside where really no other cameras do?
So we shot behind the scenes of the making of season 2 of Fauda. We had exclusive access to that from the production company, from Yes. And also we managed to get exclusive access from the border police, the Israeli border police, and filmed with the actual unit that this series is based on. They're called the Yamas, and its initials for Mistar Avim. And it was really amazing to see them in action, see them train, and hear their stories.
Do you think part of the willingness of the Israeli authorities to give you that access was because of, in a sense, the success of Fauda, and that is, for Israel, some sort of new, even though it's a very complex and mixed portrayal in that series, but still a sense of pride in what these individuals are doing?
Well, I would like to think that, but no, took a lot of convincing. And eventually we got it. We had to plan the fact that they're celebrating 25 years for their existence. And as part of those celebrations, they opened up, and I was the lucky one that they did that with.
Part of what's so fascinating about this series is that it paints a much more real picture, rather, of the reality, but on both sides. When you spoke to the people who are doing this in real life, what do they think about how that is portrayed, particularly some of the tough moral dilemmas that come up on a daily basis?
Well, according to the commander of the unit, he says that they operate just like any other unit in Israel's security forces under strict moral guidelines, and they have no problem with what they're doing whatsoever. On the other hand, we spoke to the militants on the other side, the Palestinians, that this unit is chasing. And they had, a whole different theory about how this unit operates. And so the two contradicted each other, but I think you could see in the film as well that both sides stand their ground, but both sides really learn and study the other side. And one of the sides, I think, really fears the other.
Well, on that note, there's already a clip of this in Arabic, because it's going on BBC Arabic, I believe, tonight,
right,
that has generated a lot of reactions in the Arab world. What have you heard on that note, not just from the Palestinians, as you mentioned, that are actually in the real life, but in people who are watching what goes on? There's
a lot of interest in the Arab world to anything to do with this unit, the Mistar Avim, as they call them, the ones that dress as Arabs. We've seen in the latest unrest in Ramallah just a few weeks ago how such a unit was caught in action, actually the same unit that we were filming with. And it went all over social media. The Arab world is intrigued with that for a few reasons. I think one is because they know they can't trust anyone. And on the other hand, it's something that they fear all the time. The knowledge that they cannot trust even the person next to them in the bus, in a restaurant, that any one of those can be an Israeli undercover soldier, puts fear in many people on one hand. On the other hand, they're trying to study the way they operate in order to protect themselves from it. So there's a lot of interest in anything to do with this unit.
One of the big themes of Fauda is the challenge that these operatives have, in that they have to go so deep into Palestinian life, that there's a sense of identification, maybe not on the political level, but almost on socially, and it sort of complicates their lives, their personal lives, maybe in some degree their work. Did you find that among the real units?
I think Fauda, the series, Lior Raz and Avi Sischauf, managed to portray and write it so well.